welcome to a video about multiplying fractions together. So here we've got 5 and 1/9, and I'm multiplying that by -3 and 3/4. So we have a positive times a negative, so right off the bat I'm going to realize, okay, my final result should be a negative number. And then it's also a good idea to get an estimate. So if I think about this, 5 and 1/9 is kind of close to 5, and -3 and 3/4 is kind of close to -4. So as you're dealing with numbers, as you're doing computations like this, it's always a good idea to have in your head what a reasonable estimate should be. My answer should be kind of around -20. It's definitely not going to be exactly -20, but it shouldn't be 458 or something weird like that. I have a good ballpark of what my answer should be. All right, so I got these tucked away. Let's start crunching this thing out now. So I like to, when multiplying fractions, the steps I like to follow is get improper fractions. So, turn mixed numbers into improper fraction. So let's start with that first. 5 and 1/9, if I turn that improper fraction, 9 times 5 is going to be 45, plus the 1 for the fraction part means I have 46 ninths. I'm going to be multiplying that by 4 times 3 is 12. 12, 13, 14, 15 from the 3 there means -15/4. All right, my next step, I've got improper fractions. Everything's good to go there. Multiplying is actually in some ways easier than adding and subtracting because I can just multiply across. Multiply across. But you know what? There's actually, let me change that to step 3 because I want to see, are there any factors that divide out? Now, this is kind of usually the last step, right? Reduce your fraction down, see if there's any common factors in the numerator or denominator that can divide out. But when you're multiplying, you can go ahead and do this step now. I know that the top numbers are going to multiply together and the bottom numbers are going to multiply together. So if I can see any factors that are going to divide out right now, it makes it a whole lot easier. And I can already see some. I'm going to write this out really obviously here. But 46 and 4, the top numerator and denominator, those both have a factor of 2 that are going to eventually divide out. So I could rewrite it as like this. 2 times 23, that's the same as 46, is eventually going to be divided by a 2 times 2. You can see where I have a 2 in the numerator and a 2 in the denominator that are going to divide out to equal 1. All right, how about my 9 and 15? Well, those both have a factor of 3 in common. 9 I can rewrite as 3 times 3. And -15 I can rewrite it as 3 times -5. And so there's some other factors that are going to divide out. Another factor of 3 divided by 3. So you don't necessarily have to do it in this step, but some people really like jumping in and simplifying things out right here because now I've changed the problem into 23 thirds times -5/2. That's a little bit easier of a problem to kind of manage and work with and think about, right? I can do some of these numbers in my head even. All right, so now we just did step 2. We looked at factors that divided out from my numerator and denominator. Now let's go ahead and multiply across. So 23 times 5 is going to be -115. 3 times 2 is going to be 6. Okay. I've got a huge improper fraction here, so to have a final good solid answer, I want to change it into a mixed number. 6 goes into 115. I know it goes into 120 20 times, so it must go in 19 times then into 115, because 6 times 19 would be 114. Well, 115 is 1 extra out of the 6 that I'm dividing. So my answer as a mixed number gets back into -19 and 1/6. Now, how does that compare with our estimate of -20? It compares pretty darn good. So I'm feeling good about this. So 5 and 1/9 times negative 3 and 3/4. We first put them into improper fraction. Then we found some factors that divided out. So we went ahead and divided out those factors. We essentially simplified our fraction ahead of time. And then we multiplied across on the top and multiplied across on the bottom to get negative 115/6. And then we changed that into a mixed number. All right, hopefully that was helpful for you.